Welcome to the Verde and Verdict Sports Show. I'm your host, Jacob Verde. Hope everybody's having a good day. Let's get right into this stream. We got an LSU sports update. We're going to talk about spring football. What's good? What's bad? What has to be improved? We're going to talk about baseball. Hell of a game yesterday. Got March Madness on the horizon. We got all kind of things, all kind of topics here to break down. As usual, got a question, comment, concern, you know where to drop it in the chat. We'll pop it up on the screen. Get active with you throughout the stream. Please hit that like button, subscribe button, turn that notification on as well so you don't miss another upload. We'll be back on the field at LSU football practice next week, Monday and Tuesday. We have some more spring practice footage for you. It's been a minute, but we're back out there on the practice field, getting some intel, trying to see where the Tigers are headed, at least this season, in terms of, overall production, overall replacements, new transfers, new faces. We'll break it all down for you. First things first, I know you saw it, posted it on socials, and if you ain't see it, go follow us at Verde and Verdict so you're going to be able to stay updated with the latest LSU information. Mike Jones, who? Mike Jones, defensive analyst, former Clemson and LSU player, had a little stint with the Atlanta Falcons, but he is hired onto the coaching staff. Now, I think this is going to be a good move. It's not one of those big hires that you're going to go ahead and panic about, but it's a wholesome moment. It's a full circle moment. Oh, Mike Jones gets to come back to campus and work in probably what I would guess would be the linebacker room in some capacity. Now, you can go down as many rabbit holes as you want with this. First thing is it's probably the most potential out of any group on this defense is the linebacker room. You got Whit Weeks, you got Harold Perkins, but what you really need is to develop the young, inexperienced pieces the most. The Devon Keys, the Zach Weeks, and Keelan Moses, once they get here, those pieces, that's who's going to benefit from something like this the most. I mean, Mike Jones has been around the block. I mean, maybe didn't get the ring, but he was in a situation to play for a ring, and he's had a decent career, went to the NFL, the whole 9 yards. This is somebody that you would want on your staff to be able to push this defense in the right spot. And I feel like that's the direction that LSU football is going. And the defense it's been growing over the past few years. Obviously, it's kind of been a slow paced growth, and a lot of people have wanted it to speed up. But I think this is the year that you get to see it in its true potential, hit its true ceiling. Let's talk about spring football. What have I seen that's good? What have I seen that's bad? What do they need to work on? What has impressed me? Yada, yada, yada. Whole 9 yards. Let's start off with the negative first. Obviously, your O-line rotation needs work. And I mean, I don't want to say this a million times, a million and one perhaps by this point, but obviously the depth is still getting moved around. It's not going to be finalized. You still have some pieces that are going to be able to be added into the fold potentially, but with what you've seen, there definitely is a little bit of a layer of inconsistency. It's not saying that it's going to be a bad group. It's not saying that you should worry. It's just saying that the offensive line you've been used to for a couple of years will not be the offensive line that's rolling out this season. It could be more toward what you saw in year one under Brian Kelly, where you had the 6 different offensive line combinations through 6 weeks. And I mean, you were able to piece it together and get through it. Obviously, that year you go to the SEC title game, get bapped on the head a little bit, get the rub, and the rest is history that you can remember. But there's a couple of things that are kind of standing out, especially from the fact that there are some O-line transfers that have come in and still haven't necessarily made a direct impact, especially impact in the regard that you were expecting them to initially make. Josh Thompson, for example, obviously he's the late arrival coming from Northwestern, still had to finish some academic things, but once he comes, he gets plugged and played at tackle. But at Northwestern, he played right guard. And if you asked me, I thought he would have played guard here for LSU without a shadow of a doubt. But now it seems to be one of those situations where he's going to plug in wherever they need the most help. If Wesson Davis and Tyree Adams stay at those tackle spots, then he's going to play guard. However, if they need some help at the tackle spot, he can slide over, and that's where he started to make his presence felt here at LSU. But just kind of circling back to the overall O-line focus, I think I'm gonna trust Brad Davis, right? I mean, he's shown you not only the level of consistency that you've needed at this type of position from this type of positional coach. He's been retained on the staff. He's been here since Coach Jargeron. This is the area I think where if you were going to pick a spot, you were going to pick a position group to have to restart from scratch, I would pick the position group led by somebody like this. It would either be offensive line or it would be wide receiver with Cortez Hankton. But I like both of those position coaches so much, so I feel like both of them are capable of being a coordinator or even a higher level, even a head coach. think they have the characteristics, the capabilities. With that being said, I feel like that's why the players buy in so much in the room around them. That's why you're able to see the instant success. So Will Campbell freshman year journey, Emory Jones freshman year journey, and then now naturally, I think you can plug and play a couple of more people here in this room. You still got young pieces as well. It's not like the O line is just moving in transfers and that's all they got. You got young guys. You got Carius Kern. You got Solomon Thomas. You even got younger guys like Paul Mubenga who could slide in, who saw some time last season in his first year in the SEC. But all in all, offensive line, kind of a worry, something that I think initially piqued my interest. But I think as you go through spring, as you go through fall, as you get closer to that Clemson game, you're going to start to see the finalized lineup, and you're going to start to kind of get more confidence. Another thing I want to talk about real quick, the center position. I mean, whenever Braylon Moore decides to come to LSU, everybody had kind of just assumed that's your starting center, and DJ Chester's either going to move, positions, or he just was going to hit the portal. That was the assumption. Now, naturally, as spring has gone underway, you've seen DJ Chester kind of stick around at that center spot, especially at center one in the rotations that we've seen. Now, is it because of consistency? Is it because of that's what they've been used to? Is he getting cross-trained? I don't know. Time will only tell. But there is a couple of spots on LSU's offensive line that are not finalized in terms of they're still probably battling it out. Center is going to be one of them. Him and Braylon Moore, I think, could play either guard or center. And whatever one doesn't wind up being the center will probably be right next to the other in that guard position. But time will continue to tell. Time will continue to see how this room evolves. Another one of the concerns, nothing major, nothing big. I would say it would be the wide receiver height. And I like the talent that you have in that wide receiver room. I like the pieces that you're able to put together. But I do want to talk about the fact that everybody's criticizing Garrett Nussmeier because of the gunslinging absence, right? Everybody's saying, where is the gunslinger? Where's the deep passes? Where's this? Where's that? I mean, we can address this a million times. Garrett Nussmeier threw for more yards than pretty much any quarterback in LSU's history in their first starting year. If you look at the first year starting in totality and how many yards they threw, Garrett Nussmeier threw more than your last two Heisman winning quarterbacks in their first season. It's not saying he's going to take the mantle and be a Heisman as well. I don't want to put that pressure on, but all I'm going to say is he's got the tools. He's got the capabilities. He's got the skills to be able to put LSU's offense in that situation. What do you do, though? If you don't have the 6'4" piece, the 6'5" piece, the big vertical threat, what do you do? Last year, I think it was a similar situation. You want him to throw the ball deep, but he needs options to throw it deep. I mean, he didn't have Chris Hilton in the beginning of the season with the injuries, and quite frankly, the biggest option he had was Kyron Lacy, who's 6'2", and that's a very similar spot that what they can be in right now. When the only two options you have over 6'3" are Nick Anderson, Kylan Billiot. Other than that, everybody's 6 foot, 6'1", 6'2". I think Chris Hilton's 6'1", Barry Brown's 6 foot. You've got a similar situation. And I'm not saying you're going to have a similar result because I do think that there is something to be said for Garrett Nussmeier coming back and being comfortable and having a year under his belt. It definitely will have a progression, a natural progression at that. But I think it will benefit, or he will benefit from having one of those vertical options that he's going to be able to look at. Chris Hilton's going to be the X factor. If he's healthy, if he's out there on the field, if he's going to be able to be, in that spot, on the other side of an Aaron Anderson, on the other side of a Trey Green, kind of making that defense play true and honest, then, yeah, I think the gunslinger ability is going to be able to be used despite the lack of height. However, if Chris Hilton isn't up to speed, then common sense is going to tell you Nick Anderson's getting in because of size. 100%. The rotation could look, this is my guess. This is what I think is going to be finalized. Chris Hilton, Aaron Anderson, Nick Anderson. However, I'm going to put an asterisk at Nick Anderson because I do think it's very similar to the offensive line situation. The transfers are fighting for their roles. They're not just getting it given to them. They're not just showing up at LSU and here you go, here's a starting spot. No. But when you've got talent like a Nick Anderson, a Barry Brown, pieces of that nature, I do think that they are going to have a pretty damn hard time keeping the best players, the skill rotation off of the field. I mean, it's going to come down to who matches up the best. And I think there's going to be some names here. Barry Brown's going to be one of them that could potentially force his way into that three. A Chris Hilton, Aaron Anderson, and Barry Brown trio, especially when you put Trey Green mixed in when he's going to be the tight end line down wide. That's a damn hard rotation to grab. Now, obviously, Like we said, it's going to be very similar to offensive line rotation, where it's not going to be uh, anything other than penciled in until South Carolina or Clemson when you make the trip to South Carolina. It will be one of those interesting things to watch Cortez Huntington continue to piece this room together. Let's talk about the defense. This is when we start to be positive. This is when I start to give you my strengths. We talked about concerns. We talked about the things that I'm worried about LSU fixing through spring. This is what I think they fixed. This is what I think looks great. What has surprised me, what I think they're going to be able to double down on and potentially win a lot of games with next year. Defensive line, looking great. Every single critique or criticism or opinion on LSU throughout the last couple of years has been at the lack of defense. And now they're in a situation where the whole defense turned over a new leaf. It looks like a completely new unit. Now you can say it's because of a variety of things. It's because Coach Kelly has had 4 years to recruit or portal or do whatever the hell. You could also say it's because this is the, second year of this staff being cohesive, and you get a Blake Baker, you get a Corey Raymond, you had Bo Davis. You have pieces that are able to put the culture that you had initially wanted into the locker room, into the position groups, into the team. And now I feel like it's kind of resonating here. You do have key transfers that came in, kind of patched up some of the areas that you were, kind of thin at, edge specifically, losing Braden Swinson, losing Savion Jones, you're losing a lot of good pieces. A year prior, you lost 3 defensive tackles. I mean, you're in a spot where you needed to get some names in the room. You got Jack Pyburn, and you got Jamari Butler, and you got Patrick Payton. And with the addition of Kyle Williams and what he's been able to do with guys like Ahmad Bro, Dominic McKinley on the inside, that D-line room has names. You got the Jimmy and Joes. You got the Jacoby Gallery who's going to return. You got a lot of pieces. And not to mention, you got a guy named Gabriel Relaford. And I'm going to stand on the soapbox all summer long and praise Gabe Relaford because not only does he deserve it, but he's one of those unsung heroes of this defense that I think could 100% exponentially grow his role from one spot of the season to the end. By the end of the season, number 19 could be a household name in terms of impact player, big plays to help solidify a big win, maybe even a primetime sack like ISO Joe Braden Swinson last season. He could have one of those emergent years. And you've seen it during practice. You've seen it in the clips. You've seen it in what we've shared. I feel like adding him, adding a Jack Pyburn, a Patrick Payton, these type of guys, even a Mob Bro, I feel like they've all stood out to me. They've all have grown. They all have kind of realized the role in the spot that they're going to have to play in this LSU defense. And I'm going to talk about a whole nother aspect of this defense too. The DB depth, I think, is insane. I mean, I said that they added transfers to patch up the D-line. They did that for the cornerback room as well. Mansour Delane, Jakeem Jackson. They threw in a safety with TaMarcus Cooley. I mean, whenever Bryce Underwood said, I'm going to stay home, everybody at LSU is pretty much like, all right, bet. We're going to take it. We're going to relock. We're going to reload. We're going to take all these funds that we were supposedly going to slide your way, and now we're going to go rebuild this defense. One player turned into damn near 8 players for LSU. It was a blessing in disguise, about as disguised as you can get it, because at first people were up in arms, heartbroken, myself included. It's a crazy curveball to get last minute. Hindsight's 2020, and now you're looking at potentially damn near 4 possible starters in each spot, corner and safety. You got that many names. Safety, I could see Toviano, Deshaun Spears, Jordan Gilbert, or TaMarcus Cooley all getting thrown out there. Shit, Joel Rogers is even a name that I think is a young buck that could earn some stripes. Cornerback, Mansour Delane, Ashton Stamps, Jakeem Jackson, even DJ Pickett. I mean, you got guys, a lot of guys. You still got young names I haven't even mentioned. Like I said, Joel Rogers, Michael Turner, PJ Woodland, Austin Osbury. The defense has completely evolved. You're miles ahead of where you were the last few years. And I mean, you can thank a lot of people for it. But with what you got with Corey Raymond, with what you got with Blake Baker, with what you got with all of these pieces, the next few years is going to be bright, and it starts this season. I made the crazy take in the offseason saying, yeah, I think that next year LSU's defense could be the shining moment, the shining part at least, the side of the ball for the Tigers where you are the most impressed, I think will be the defensive side. And it's going to be because of the transition that they have seen instantly. Let's talk about a comment that I saw yesterday. I'm sure some of y'all had saw it on our social medias as well. And you could pretty much guess the reaction that he got. We're just browsing the internet like we do. And we saw a quote from our guy, friend of the show, Sage Ryan. He made a comment about playing LSU, just saying, I can't wait. He's seeing red already. Can't wait to go against his former teammates. This guy Nuss, going to be a good battle. And boy, oh boy, if people have some fun with him in the comments. I mean, this was one of the look. I love it because I love the competitive nature. I'm all for the shit talking. I'm all for it. I love it. Love Sage. Love the whole environment. But man, when you say something like this, you know it's coming. You can't poke fun at the LSU faithful and not expect them to poke some fun back. It was an interesting post. Definitely put a target on his back. Opened up a can of worms, if you will. If you didn't check it out, go to our socials, either Facebook or our Instagram at Verdict to be able to go read the comments. He even responded to one of them. I thought that was pretty funny. But yeah, I mean, man, that's a way to put a target on your back for sure. That's a way to have people circle that game and remember it. That might be a moment that you either look like a genius when it comes down to it, and you're looking back after the game and potentially Ole Miss wins at home. And then you look like Nostradamus. But if you give up a couple of touchdowns, it could be one of those Coy Moore situations where it comes back to bite you. I don't want to see it come back to bite you. Got our guy Blanche in the chat. Good morning, Blanche. Jacob talking about can't wait to meet Sage. Yeah, I think a lot of LSU fans can't wait either. I think it's going to be an interesting matchup when Ole Miss plays LSU. It's already going to be a tough game. LSU already got, some bragging rights. But I think it's one of those things where it normally falls into the lap of the home team. It's turning into the opposite of what the LSU Alabama series was. Because normally that is the away team. But now I think that LSU Ole Miss is creeping into that SEC rivalry. Hopefully they're going to be able to handle it this season, though. Let's talk about something I found interesting here. Arch Manning on the screen. Everybody probably wondering why. What the hell are we talking about Arch Manning for Texas? Lawrence Don, all this good stuff. Apparently, this is per Adam Schefter, and this is just speculation. It's just rumors. It's just hypothetical situations. But apparently, Arch Manning is not for sure for the 2026 draft class. Might skip the draft next year. Now, there's a variety of things that could be the reasoning for this. I'm going to break all of them down for you. The first one, obviously, you got a huge spotlight at UT. Draft stock can only go up. It's one of those institutions that's recruiting like hell. I mean, you could buy any player. You could buy any portal player. You can have damn near anything go right at the University of Texas. It's even saw instant success in the SEC. That's about as convincing as you can get from me from an athletic standpoint. If you want to show me that you're a successful institution, go to the SEC in the first year and head to the championship. And we're not talking about the SEC championship in just any old sport. We're talking about football. Supposedly, and I would agree, the toughest sport to win any championship in. They went into the SEC and instantly created some type of competition. So in my head, I feel like it's a prospect that's only going to keep improving. Why rush to go to the NFL when you don't have to rush? You still got time. You still can continue to develop with Sarkisian. Not to mention that draft class is going to be stacked with quarterbacks next year. Not to mention Nussmeier, Klubnik, Carson Beck, Drew Aller, Lenora Sellers, Nico from Tennessee. You got a lot of names you're competing with, bro. That's already 6 people and 6 quarterbacks. That'll take you through damn near 3 rounds. Probably going to be 3 to 4 in the first round at most. Then you're going to see the other, kind of trickle in throughout the rest of the picks. I don't know if Arch Manning is ready for that smoke. He only had 1 year of a starter, type of situation. And I don't think it was one of those where it's like he was sitting, waiting. He's priming and getting polished. I feel like he still might have a little bit more growth and things to accomplish, but you never know. I mean, 1 year starting, it could be ready. It could be a generational talent. My thing is, the Mannings always got a plan, bro. If there's one thing about the Mannings, they always have a plan, whether it be business-wise, sports-wise, anything. On the field, off the field, they get it done 100%. And then there's nothing like getting expert advice from someone who 100% did everything you wanted to do. Your dream is to go to the NFL. Your dream is to win a Super Bowl. Your dream is to be a Hall of Famer. You got 2 uncles that did both of them. You got a grandfather that did it. The advice that's coming through that family is one of one. So I'm not going to say that they're going to put them in a bad situation at all. And then another thing I want to point out, the Mannings never went early. If you looked at Peyton, if you looked at Eli, both of them played 4 years at their college, Tennessee and Ole Miss, obviously, respectively. It is a new era, though. And I think that I say that in a attempt to kind of say Arch would consider it more so now than ever before. I mean, if back then they're going to consider it because of the experience, because of being able to develop. Now, when you throw a damn $6 million check on top of it, it gets that much sweeter. Like, yeah, I get to develop, I get to grow, I could probably boost my stock, be the number 1 pick, and I'm getting paid like an NFL player already. Bro, some of those rookie contracts are only like $9 million a year. If Quinn Ayers is rumored to get 6, which it may or may not have been true, But regardless, Carson Beck got $4 million to go to Miami. I bet you Arch Manning could get a bag if he went around making calls saying he wanted to stay in college football. You could probably get your NFL salary and get that extra year of development and become the number one pick. Because right now, I just don't think he slides in. Now, Arch Manning is a phenomenal quarterback, going to be in a great situation, going to be in the limelight, probably going to be one of the number one teams at a time. I think UT's a very great squad. But Nussmeier, Kate Klubnik, those guys, they ain't just going to be no walk in the park now. They ain't just going to be no walk in the park. I think that there's going to be plenty of good situations in college football to monitor, not just Arch Manning. Be very interesting. Let's talk about LSU baseball. This is the man of the hour. Shout out Kate Anderson. Oh, my God. I mean, if you ain't watch, if you ain't here, I'll break it down to you real quick. 9-inning shutout. The entire game this guy's pitching. 135 pitches. 14 strikeouts. Out of the 135 pitches, 91 of them were strikeouts. I think he only gave up like 5 hits. It's a new career high for him, obviously. I mean, shout out to him if he can never break it. He apparently retired the final 12 batters after the 7th inning leadoff double. Oh, my God, a dozen in a row. That's insane. They're 28-3 overall, 8-2 in SEC play. Coach Johnson talked about Cade. Just kind of said he hit another gear. He was really strong, dominant, composed on the mound. I'd have to agree. I mean, good damn Lord. I don't know what your shoulder's feeling like the day after something like that. You better sleep on the other side, bro. If it's your right shoulder, go ahead toss your body on that left one, because boy, you're gonna need to ice that thing up. You're gonna be hitting one of these in the morning. It's gonna be a little bit before you see K back on the mound. But now you saw what you can get out of him. You saw the potential. You saw the fact that you got a guy you can throw for 130 plus and keep it accurate and keep it on a line, damn near strike out or retire the final 12 batters at the end of the game. If you can keep that accuracy and that pose together, I think you're in a good situation. LSU baseball continues the series with Oklahoma today at 6:30, and they're going to play their final game of the series tomorrow at 2. Hopefully they don't have to push the game back to 2 a.m. 2 p.m. is when it's set for. But hey, you never know here at LSU baseball. You might be up nodding off during the 7th inning stretch. Hoops portal. Let's talk about this. So, everybody, I've seen the comments. I'm seeing all the reactions. I'm seeing everything. Some people were confused on the Fly J. Johnson situation. Is she eligible? Could she do this? Could she do that? Yeah, naturally, a lot of women's college players had to wait 4 years to get in. The rule is 4 years or 22 years of age. The woman you're looking at on the screen right now, Fly J. Johnson, is 22. So she potentially could go into the WNBA draft if she wanted to. The word on the street is she has not put her name into the pool, so she will not be going to the WNBA draft. However, we're not just going to sit here and run away with it and say she's coming back to LSU, because there is a little bit of an interesting element to this here. I said the other day on Wednesday, what was the magic date that the transfer portal closes? Coco Shama, if you're in the chat, you probably remember it all too well. April 22nd. She has 18 days to decide if she's going to return to LSU. As of right now, she could play college basketball, but it's not specific on where. I'm not saying that she's thinking about it, and I'm not saying that it's something. I'm not going to toot the horn yet. I'm not going to sit here and Big Four is back. I want it. I need it. I think the team would be a million times better because of it. But it's something that you got to watch. Because at first I wanted to come out and say she's, locked for LSU, businesswoman, getting the bag to come back. But hey, she might be getting the bag to come back, but it might be coming from somewhere else. You never know. And I'm not saying that it's going to happen. I'm just saying I'm worried about it. That's just my transparency worry. Probably going to be at LSU. That's my hope. But with last year, Poe entered in the portal with the rumors of Olivia Miles potentially coming to LSU. That's a Notre Dame guard. She was the projected number 2 pick. She did the same thing. I'm foregoing the WNBA draft. Now, let's go down a whole nother rabbit hole. It had me wonder. Flage don't want to go to the draft, or maybe not don't want to, but she's not. And Olivia is not. Why? Why decline the deal? I mean, I know that the NIL money's bumping, and you're probably getting paid at the college level, making a ton. But I looked into it a little bit. The WNBA's collective bargaining agreement, they got out of it last October. So it was supposed to expire in 2027. In 2024, they said, you know what? We're good. No more CBA, at least current CBA. We're going to move on to it. And if you keep up with the WNBA, you saw last year that they got a new media rights deal. The media rights deal, I don't know if it's like 9 years, 14 years. It's a good chunk of change, but they get $200 million a year for the media rights deal. So obviously the broadcasting rights is going up, viewership going up, attendance going up, interest going up. The WNBA players are saying that they want the collective bargaining agreement to go up. They want their player salaries to go up. They want the revenue share to go up. They want the benefits to go up. This new deal for the WNBA, the one that's currently in place, expires on October 31st. And from what I researched, there could potentially be a new CBA before next draft. So hypothetically, if Flage, Olivia, all these other pieces that are thinking about hitting the WNBA draft or thought, they could be making way more money next year if they just wait. The rookie base contracts are going to go up. The minimums are going to go up. All these different things are going to go up. It might not go up a lot. We don't know exactly how much, but you could be talking tens of thousands of dollars here in a difference. If they're going to sign a collective bargaining agreement and make sure that all boats rise and everybody gets paid accordingly, you're probably going to want to wait till they figure that out, till that new deal starts. And like I said, it should potentially be in time for the 2026 draft. That's probably why I think Flage would come back. Now, like I said, you're going to have to worry. Where do you come back? Hopefully it's LSU. I feel like it's LSU. It ain't over till it's over. I'd pay close attention to this one, folks. Obviously, the men added another piece in the portal, small forward last night, Max McKinnon from Portland. And since we talked, guard Rashad King from Northeastern. They keep going. Matt McMahon keeps adding. Matt McMahon keeps putting pieces together, and you need it because time ticking. Time is ticking. Need some tournaments. Need something. Hopefully they get it. What's on tap for LSU sports? What we got going? What we got brewing here? LSU's got a hell of a weekend intact. And we'll tell you every single sporting event that you can keep your eye on for. Let's start it off with baseball. Friday tonight, 6:30 p.m. playing Oklahoma. Softball tonight, 6 p.m. versus Alabama. Beach volleyball has a Florida State Invitational Tournament. They're going to be playing South Florida, FAU, and Texas today. They're already underway. Started at 9 a.m. Women's tennis today at Arkansas, 5 o'clock. And then you are going to move into the track and field battle on the beach, 12 o'clock today. Hey, Jelani Watkins, go bust out another one, man. Sub 10 second. Come on, Jelani. We're going to be keeping close eye on that as well. Saturday, baseball at 2:30. You got softball at 6 o'clock. Then you got beach volleyball again. Florida State, South Carolina. That's going to be around 9 to 11 in the morning. God bless. Women's tennis, they're on Sunday at 11. Men's tennis Saturday at Oklahoma. Gymnastics Saturday, NCAA regional final. They're trying to go get that championship. They just won the SEC title. Gym is trying to go pursue that NAT. And then the men's golf have a tournament, the Calusa Cup, Naples, Florida, 11 a.m. Get in there while it's good. Got a lot of sports this weekend. We got baseball, softball, beach volleyball, tennis for men's and women's. Gymnastics are in the NCAA tourney. Track and field, Jelani Watkins, fastest man on the bayou. And then men's golf. Go tune in, man. What's on tap for LSU sports? We got everything for you. Appreciate everybody for tuning into the stream. Y'all have a hell of a weekend. This has been the Verdant Verdict. I'm your host, Jacob Verdant. Before you hop out, please, thumbs up. Hit the thumbs up. Don't take a lot. Not a lot of effort. Just one click, boom, done, means the world. Make me smile. We will be back Monday at 9 a.m. We got the practice. You know what's coming. Got footage. If you want anything in particular, any specifics, any one position group, any one player, any one thing, drop it in the comments. I'm going to get through all of them. Look at the shot list. We'll be back Monday at 9 a.m. with more LSU footage. This has been the Verdant Verdict. Y'all enjoy that weekend.